Waiting. And yes. Yellow people, yellow followers of the Primera Liga, Liga Portugal. We're here ready to do a massive game preview. Moreirense versus Sporting closing this round 22. And I'm right here with my buddy Albert from Long Ball Football. Albert, how you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm very good. I love doing these shows with you, man. They're so much fun. We had a lot of fun last week for Porto, although I got a lot wrong. And maybe we'll chat about that. But we predicted some things. You got a lot right. I got a lot wrong. But no, we have a lot of fun in these, man. So it's great to be back.
You know, it was crazy, but I mean, it was exactly. It was like I wrote the script for the game. It was just exactly how I predicted it was going to happen, man. I was in heaven, man. I was in heaven.
But it was a great game. It was a great game for a neutral, and I predicted that Porto would win. But honestly, I think the Aruca win would have been more exciting, and that's what we got. We got a more exciting result. We got a more interesting result. They played amazing. They deserved to win. So, yeah, man, brilliant stuff.
Tonight is. I don't know if it's an advantage because I don't think they need any advantage, anything in their favor because they're depending on themselves only. And but it's so cool to close the round, right? Being the last one to show, knowing everybody else's results, all the struggles from everybody else, and Benfica didn't struggle this week, huh?
Yeah, they were fine. Benfica had a good week. Yeah, no, I think it's like if you play last, then you see, if your rivals slip up, then great, we've got an opportunity here that motivates you. And then if you see, for example, Benfica going 5-0 up in the first half, then you think, right, well, we're going to try and do the same. So yeah, I think you're definitely right. Being on the Monday, although perhaps for the fans going to the stadium on a Monday evening, it's a bit more inconvenient. But in terms of the actual team, possibly it gives them a little bit of an advantage.
Right now, let me tell you something. Right? I know you might be too young for this, right? But back in the day, right, there was Guns N' Roses, right? You do know Guns N' Roses,
yeah, of course,
right?
yeah.
Right. In 1987, they released this album. It's called "Appetite for Destruction." Let's keep it. Let's see if that is still alive tonight. For Sporting versus Moreirense. So you think it's gonna be the case? You see, you're gonna see another massacre, led by the Night King.
Well, anyone who listens to the Long Ball Football podcast will know that I like Moreirense very much. I respect very much what they've achieved this season, and we will come on to discuss them in just a second. So I would like to think that they will play a great game. But that said, they recently lost 5-0 to Porto themselves. So we've seen that perhaps them going into games, and very admirably, they go into games against big teams trying to play good football. They try and stick to their beliefs, but I think they would be a little bit naive to do that tonight because the quality that Sporting have, if you give them the opportunity to counter-attack, if you give them the opportunity to run at your defense, then you're going to have big problems all night. It could be a very, very tricky night for Moreirense. But do you know what I would say if I was the Moreirense manager in that dressing room tonight? Do you know what I would say to those players? It's also a great opportunity to get a great upset, So they haven't really got anything to lose, Moreirense. I don't think, if they lose this game, who cares? They move on to the next one. Their season is not defined on this game anyway. But they've got, maybe, who knows? Maybe there'll be an upset. But I think, we have to be upfront about where these two teams are. Sporting in a really great place. They're in a great place. They're playing great football. Their best players are in great form. And so, yeah, they can be, I think Sporting fans can be very, very positive and optimistic ahead of this game. And there's no reason to think that they won't see their team put in another great performance tonight, definitely.
Right. And now Matt's saying playing Monday to Thursday, it's inconvenient. That you gotta mention that. I was just looking at the talking about schedules, right? Benfica has to play, what is it, 6 games in 2 weeks. 6 games in 2 weeks. It's just ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. But it is what it is. It's the price that you gotta pay when you play in Europe. If you play in
Yeah,
Europa League, you play Champions League, you know that time of the year is gonna come, and you gotta be ready, and you gotta be, I know we're previewing Sporting, but it's inevitable to talk about Benfica because they're right there. They're the
yeah,
number one now. Right now they're the
yeah, yeah,
leaders
yeah.
up until this game is over. And I'm glad to see that I mentioned this, right? I don't know if you saw that about the. Let's see how the rotation works
Mm.
for Benfica, and it worked
Hmm.
perfect. It worked perfect.
Yeah,
Now we'll
yeah,
see. I think I just saw the. You got you got the lineups.
yeah, yeah. Let me get it up right now for Sporting. I saw they made a couple of changes. I think. Um, Yeah, do you want me to run through it? So they've got. Do you know what? I think it's a similar lineup to what we've seen for in the league the last few games. Obviously, had Danny in goal. Then they got the back three. Eduardo Quaresma still plays. Sebastian Quach still plays. Inacio still plays. I
Right.
think Quaresma was the one where you thought, will he bring Diamande back in now that he's back from African Cup of Nations? But Quaresma's been playing so well. I think he makes the right decision. Keep him in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
side. He
No. But
deserves it.
nice.
Yeah, the only position, it's funny, I think the only positions in Sporting's team which are up for debate at the moment really are both sides of the wing backs. So right wing back, sometimes they play Ricardo Esgaio. Tonight they're playing Jenny Katama. I think I
I
prefer that
love it.
because
I
I love
love it.
Jenny. He's such an exciting player. They're playing Nuno Santos on the left-hand side. I like Nuno Santos. I think he's an underrated player. Then Marito and Hulman in
You
the
said
middle.
that
That's
underrated. That you said keyword
mm,
right there with Nuno
I think
Santos,
so.
man. Underrated player, man. At one
I
point, I
think
think
so.
he was the most underrated Portuguese player
Yes.
in the tournament. I don't know. Did he get the international call up this time? No,
Not yet,
no, no,
not yet. But I think he
no.
wants one, and I think it's not beyond the realms of
It's about
possibility
time,
at all.
right?
Yeah, man.
It's about time. And you know what's interesting? What the Rui Borges said about Sporting. All right, we know that they are almost an unstoppable force, but every time that they lose the ball is an opportunity for a transition for us, and then that's what we're gonna aim for. We're gonna aim for get the most out of every transition that we get. If
Hmm.
we do that, we got a chance. That's what he said.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a good point. Yeah, I mean,
It's like seeing the glass half full, right? Something
exactly
like that,
that. Exactly that.
right?
Yeah, no, yeah, no,
Because
exactly that.
he knows that position by position, player by player, they are the underdogs, and they are the
Yes.
underdogs big time. But also, you know what? If this game would have been played, I don't know, maybe a month ago, I would say that it was a different vibe, a different matchup. But
Hmm.
right now, because of the late inconsistency from Moreirense, I don't think this that I don't think that they have much of a chance. We could be wrong. We could be wrong. They can come up strong out of the gates and put up a stellar performance and steal. And if they steal a point, that will be
Hmm.
it. If they steal a point, um,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that the race is open, but it's got so much more interesting now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let me talk about Moreirense quickly for a second because I think people will know less about Moreirense than they will about
Go
Sporting.
ahead,
But
go.
so Moreirense they're sixth in the table, newly promoted team. So they only got promoted from the Segunda Liga this to
Right,
the Premier Liga this season, and they're sixth in the table. Great achievement. But interestingly, I think people have kind of noticed
forgot.
them slightly less than other teams, like perhaps even Aruca. We talk about Aruca a lot, but they had a slow start to the season. Estoril, similar. We talk about Estoril quite a lot. These are teams who
A
kind of have
lot.
big ups and downs. Moreirense
Yeah.
is the story of their season has really been consistency. Um, some interesting stats about them. Um, until recently, the only games they'd lost in the league so far this season had been against Porto, Braga, and Sporting. They
That's it.
recently lost. They recently lost a game against Casapia, but that was the first time this season they'd lost in the league against a team that wasn't one of the top four teams. So that's really the story of this team season. They've been really strong against teams on a similar playing field to them. They've
Right.
won a lot of games and they've drawn a lot of games. They've not lost easily. And I think that's perhaps why they've not really grabbed people's attention, because they're not really going out and winning games 4-3 or 5-2 or something. I think they have had one or two big wins, but in general, they're very good defensively. They're solid. They're not easy to beat, and they know how to score goals, and they have exciting players. But yeah, that's kind of been the story of their season. So that's why, like I said, I kind of want to think good things about them in this game, but the reality is then they're not where they are because they've taken points off the big teams. They haven't. They've lost games against Porto, they lost games against Braga, they lost games against Sporting. They did actually draw against Benfica, but in general, they had that big 5-0 loss against Porto. So that's why I wouldn't, for Moreirense, I wouldn't really put any pressure on them for this game. And I think that will be for the benefit of the neutral. That will be good because I think they will go out and try and play good football. And I think we will see a good game as a result. We'll see two teams playing good football. And I think we will see goals tonight. So for the benefit of the neutral, I think that will be a good thing. But yeah, I think it would be a surprise if they got something out of this game.
And they're just showing on the screen now the stats for wait a second. Sammy, vamos. ¿No te pruebas? Sammy. ¿Vas a prueba ahorita? ¿Prueba ahorita? Okay, now we're talking. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? This is Monday Night Soccer on Goal TV. We're live from the longest ever name in the history of the game. They're testing now the other, because we have Spanish and English. We're good. Yeah. All right, we're good.
Sweet.
Yeah. Now, so the stats for Joao Camacho that were just popping up on the screen, and he's the second most used player in Moreirense with 3 assists, and I think it's gonna be. I think the key for Moreirense is gonna be on how effective are their wingers on this game. Because in that back three, if you the idea is to go in the channels, right? To go in the channels and try to do the damage in there. And I think they have. I'm gonna say they have solid weapons. Let's put it like that. I don't want to say it's spectacular, but Joao Camacho is a very smart player, and I believe that that's the key of the game for Moreirense, right, with their wingers.
Yeah, and I think back to the first time I watched Moreirense this season, which was the very first weekend of the season. They played Porto. I think it was either the first or second game week of the season where they played Porto. They lost 2-1 in the end. But I remember watching Moreirense in that game and thinking, I have never seen a team counterattack as fast as this team. The way they moved the ball from the back to the front so quickly, and they had so much pace in the side, was really remarkable. It was maverick stuff. So I think if they can, I think that's going to have to be how they approach the game. I think I like Joao Camacho on the wing. I think he's one for people to look out for. Alan, the playmaker, number 11. If you keep an eye out for him during this game, anyone watching, I think he's worth keeping an eye out for. So there's one or two players that can maybe cause damage, and I remember watching that game against Porto, which they lost, and I thought they really deserved something from the game. Perhaps they were a bit unlucky. So maybe they're going to get one result this season against a big team. Who knows if that will be tonight? But yeah, I think that could be a real tactic that they try and use.
And then we got Danny Saldana saying that he's scared, he's nervous. Why? Are you Moreirense fan or you're a Sporting fan? That's we don't know. Let us know, right, Danny?
Nah, Danny's a Sporting fan from the All Things Avalade podcast. But Danny, man, no need to be scared, bro. No need to be scared. I think it's gonna be.
Come on. Why the Sportingista say like that, man? You're gonna have the chance to meet Derek Gomez, right? He's a Sportingista on Tuesdays. Oh boy, the guy that he's just Give me your predictions. I think we're gonna win. Maybe. Come on, bro. Just beat this score 5 goals last weekend. What are you talking about? And
Yeah,
he was like, well, because I'm being in this position before. I'm a Sportingista. We went 19 years without winning. And many of those seasons were leading, and then they just everything went south. But
yeah.
it's just, uh, but this is what I'm saying. Okay, um, since Ruben Amorim arrived, it changed. It just changed the mentality, the how they approach it, not just the games, but the
Hmm.
tournaments. Right, the
Hmm.
tournaments. Right, this is an extremely detail-oriented guy, so focused, so stubborn too, and he is the reason why Sporting is fighting for real these title races. And on this year, with the weapon that they got, because they didn't, nobody has this Jokic in the last 5 years or so. Well,
Hmm.
I think it. All right, let's put it like this: in the last 5 years, uh, is he the best goal scorer that we've seen in the last 5 seasons? Taking
Yeah,
in consideration Darwin, what was the other guy?
Gonzalo Ramos,
Gonzalo Ramos,
Mehdi Taremi. Um,
Taremi.
I think Taremi's the only one I would compare him with. I think he's a better striker than Darwin Núñez. Personally, I think he's a more complete striker. Although Darwin has these moments of kind of
Brilliance, but
incredible inspiration, but he also has moments of inconsistency. Anyway, I'm not going to go into Darwin Núñez tonight, but I think he's a more complete striker than Mehdi Taremi as well. Actually, in terms that I think he has physicality that Taremi doesn't have. I think he's one of the best strikers we've had in the league since Jackson Martinez. Maybe that kind of player.
yeah, that kind
Um,
of impact, right?
I'm probably forgetting someone, but yeah, definitely in the last 5 years, the player in a weird way that I would compare him to in terms of impact on the league. Not exactly the same position, but Luis Diaz at Porto, who I
That's
thought
exactly what I was going to say.
when I looked at Luis Diaz play, I thought this is a player that is head and shoulders above everyone else in the league. You know, he just has that star quality, that extra level, you know, that other players don't have. Danny Saldana, is Gyökeres better than Prime Taremi? Not sure yet. I agree. Not sure yet. I think the thing about Taremi is that
Yeah,
he's been in the league a long time. He's scored a lot of goals, but I think in terms of natural ability, I think I would be inclined to say that he's just slightly more all-round striker.
dominant.
Than,
I think
yes,
he's
exactly that. Exactly
dominant.
that.
You know,
Yeah.
because with Taremi, he's an overall player. He can drop. I mean, Jokic can do that too. But it's just we've seen Taremi dropping way more than Jokic is doing. He's
They're
more
different.
like
They're
a
different. They're different
predator.
players. They're different players, and I think Taremi would have the better natural finishing. Although Jokic is obviously a great finisher,
Right.
but I think Taremi has more finishes, more types of finishes: the placement, the chip, the accuracy, the power. I think in that sense, that's what Taremi has above Jokeres. But I think Jokeres has most other things ahead of Taremi, and he's a great finisher as well. So.
Absolutely. And I forgot I was gonna say something. Lauren, she's saying that we've been in this situation before. It's impossible to be too confident at this stage. I'm not saying that no, I'm not saying that, but just be confident of just trust the process. That's what I'm saying. Trust the
Yeah.
process and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. Don't think that things are gonna go south. Don't think that. Just believe that we are playing great. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my approach with Sporting. And Albert, we got a couple of minutes because you guys, you got a few more minutes because you're going into your watch. Tell us about it. How's that watch that you do, guys?
Yeah, man. So for the Long Ball Football Socios, as the guys who follow us on Patreon, we do a monthly watch along. So we all get on a Zoom call, we watch the game, and we just talk rubbish about football for 2 hours and chat and have a laugh. And yeah, we're doing that tonight. So yeah, we'll be doing that for Sporting versus Moreirense. So it's a good game.
All right, sounds awesome. And look, how about we can do something next? You do once a month, right?
Yes, yeah.
Once a month. So next month, maybe I'll join. All right, I'm gonna mute it, so you're gonna see Michael behind the
Ah,
scenes. You like that?
that would be cool. No, that would be
Really
great.
cool,
That would be
right?
very cool.
I'm
That would
calling
be
the
really
game.
cool.
Of course, I'm going to mute you guys. We're going to be talking to each other, but I'm going to mute you. You can hear me. So,
Nice, man. I like it.
not good.
I like it. That
All
would be
right,
great.
right, Albert. Give me your prediction before we go, because you gotta go. You gotta do your show. Come on,
Listen,
go.
as I always say, I don't hide away from predictions. I put my neck out on the line, and I will say 4-0 Sporting.
I want to say 3-1. I want to say
Nice.
3-1.
I like that.
3-1.
You were
Matt
you
says,
were you were right
what?
last time. You were right last time, and I was wrong. So
It's all good. It's a good. Hey, Albert, I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. And guys,
yeah,
I'm
pleasure.
gonna go now. All the socios for Lombo Football, go to the channel, go Zoom, and I gotta work to do now. Sorry.
Nice one. A pleasure.
guys.
Really enjoyed it.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.